The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Welcome to Gate City Chronicles. I'm Kevin Avard, your host. And today we have a special guest who has left a long-term career to start his own business, a resident from Bedford. Joining us today on today's show, Vineet Bansal. All right, welcome to the show. I don't have my glasses on, so they're just for a prop. So anyway, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kevin, to have me on the show. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Now, you had a professional position with Fidelity.
Yes, that's true.
So
I was with Fidelity for 14 plus years in the technology field, started as a consultant, then became an architect, development management. Then I got into people management, so a very comfortable life. When I moved to my business, I was at Fidelity in Merrimack office. So I've been in this area for roughly 10 years now.
For 10 years, all right. And so you've had a passion, you see a way to help community businesses, and you came up with an idea of using your technology, experience with technology and working with people to develop a particular product which can help local businesses. And so you kind of stepped out and started a new venture.
That is correct.
And the name of your business is Dealici.
Dealici.
Yes, and very French name?
So it means deal here. So you would hear about the business, which is to, it operates in a deal kind of environment, but it has a lot of unique features that help small businesses, specifically restaurants, and then it helps consumers like me and you and everybody to save money.
I like the slogan. It says, let me put my glasses on here, and a fair deal for a square meal.
That is correct.
That's catchy.
It is, and it signifies what we are trying to do. So the square meal, we want to make sure the consumer is getting a full meal for the price they are paying and get it at a fair deal. So get a fair price where they are saving money on their Dealici food. At the same time, the restaurants are also able to use their fixed cost better. So if I may give a little bit about the company. So Dealici is a technology platform. It's a mobile platform that helps restaurants bring more consumers during off-peak hours. And you would know during off-peak hours, they do have enough fixed cost, but not enough revenue.
Right.
So we are trying to bring more traffic to the restaurants during off-peak hours so they can use their fixed cost better. In return, restaurants are rewarding the customers with 25% to 50% discount on their daily meals.
Now, how did you come up with that figure, 25 to 50%?
So when we were working on the business model earlier this year, when I started this company, our thought was to see what will really encourage the consumer to change their dining behavior. So if you see, most of us are used to eating out, we go out for lunch at noon, and we'll eat our dinner at around 6 o'clock, maybe 7 o'clock. We are now trying to encourage the consumer to see if they would be willing to eat out at 1:30 for their lunch, or they can eat their dinner at 8 o'clock or a little bit early. So what would be that point wherein we can influence the behavior? Now, if you see in today's environment, getting a lower discount is very widely available. So we wanted to make sure that the consumers are rewarded appropriately for their flexibility.
Right.
And that's kind of where the number came from.
And I wonder if employers would be flexible as well, so that they could allow their shifts to change some of their eating habits as well.
So if you see, Kevin, over last several years, as things have shifted, technology has become more prominent, and all the startup environment, a lot of companies coming up, the shift structure has reduced significantly. Other than manufacturing kind of jobs, if you go to any technology company, law offices, hospitals, hotels, colleges, none of them have a real shift structure. So they have, or the consumer there have a lot of flexibility to eat either early or later. The only difference we are creating is we are giving them a reason to do it.
Right.
And the reason is not just the consumer saving money, but most importantly, they're helping their own favorite local restaurants who need more footfall during those off-peak hours so that they can use their fixed costs better. So it's a win-win situation for both the restaurants and the consumers.
And that's interesting. You know, I don't know how many times we've gone out to eat. Oh, that'll be a half hour wait. 45 minutes. Well, just another 10, thank you. As a matter of fact, this weekend we were in a restaurant in Lowell, or Drake actually. It's a new restaurant.
Sure.
And it was packed, and they were busy. But, you know, when those downtimes are there, you know, and everybody's standing down just washing the tables or rewashing the tables, that's money out the door for the
restaurant.
For the restaurant.
If I were to share a couple of data points,
Sure.
The restaurant sales has been increasing by 3 to 5% every year. Our young population, we call them millennials, they have been eating out roughly 5 times a week, spending $2,800 a year. So as the society is becoming more social with a lot of social media, people are connecting with each other more over food and drinks. So our young population, and when I say people in the age group of 18 to 40 years, they are more willing to eat out, not just by themselves, but with their family and friends. It's just that they don't have enough money to spend. College students who are still spending their parents' money, they want to eat out every day. No one wants to cook. But where does that extra cash come from? So they have a need. They are flexible. And if Dealici as a platform can help them save money by being flexible, they can use all that saving to eat out more. So that's kind of the whole concept.
Now, I assume that you've gone to a multiple number of restaurants to discuss this with them, and how did they respond?
So we had, I'll say, a wide variety of experience. I was very fortunate to get associated with few big restaurateurs in Manchester, Nashua region early on, who acted as trusted advisors, gave very open advice about challenges restaurants are facing and what do they really need, and tell me a little bit about the consumer mindset. So that helped me season the business process a little bit better. However, we saw some restaurants who were like, yes, we exactly know what you're talking about. We make a very good margin during peak hours, which typically is 4 hours in a day. The remaining 7 or 8 hours are considered off-peak, when they have very little revenue, and in most cases they are losing money.
Sure.
So it resonated with restaurateurs really well. Then we also experienced some restaurateurs who are so used with this phenomena of off-peak that they don't consider it as a problem.
Right.
They have been running a restaurant for 30 years with off-peak challenges, and they have considered it as part of doing business. So, you know, it's a...
Time to think outside the box, though.
Exactly. So it was a very interesting discussion with one of the restaurateurs I was talking to. I was there at around 2 o'clock, and the restaurant has 5 or 6 people in the restaurant with a capacity of 100 plus. And I started talking about off-peak hour and challenges, and I got a response, but we do not have off-peak hours. So I kind of looked around and said, you only have 6 or 7 people. And the response was, but this is how it has been always. We don't expect more than this. So it was also an educational exercise to help them understand that it's time to think, as you said, outside the box, challenge the status quo. And maybe 20 years back, our consumer was not that flexible. But today, with technology, and everyone is on their mobile phones, everyone wants to, even the entire restaurant is on the technology. You will see the menu online, you may make a reservation online, you want to read the reviews online. And this is just another platform which connects consumers in a different fashion. So, we are trying to educate the restaurants. It's not a very difficult task, but still, in few cases, we have to educate them.
Now, each restaurant obviously has its own niche and, of course, their own customers. And is this catered to each individual? Because they're so diverse, you have to be as flexible in developing your product to them.
Correct. So again, I was thankful from the advices I got early on. So the platform we built is really flexible for the restaurant. You rightly said that not every restaurant has the same off-peak hours. At the same time, not every restaurant is appropriate for our platform. So our focus is fast casual and casual dining, where so fine
Something
dining,
like the Chop House.
So
Right? Not like the Chop House.
not
right?
like that. So
Yeah.
fine dining is something that we don't consider as a direct, like a restaurant to be on our platform. Though there would be most, Chop House would be most welcome. As
Yeah,
people
but-
who go to these fine dining restaurants go there for experience, and they necessarily don't think about saving money. Our target population has 4 characteristics. One, they are flexible with their time, they are value conscious, they are socially connected, and they're technology savvy. So when you think of these characteristics, you can zero in on our millennial population. Within that, college students, young working professionals, single or 2-family households. And then when we think of the restaurants, where do they typically go? Are the places which are fast casual or casual restaurants.
Like a bar and grill or something to that.
Yes. So if I were to give few examples of the restaurant that are already on a platform, it starts from Lulu in Nashua, or La Hacienda again in Nashua.
Yes.
We have O'Brien's from Main Street, Nashua Garden on Main Street. We have Speaker's Corner as part of Crown Plaza. So we have wide variety of restaurants from Nashua who are on our platform, and then in Manchester, places like Murphy's Diner or Millie's
I know
Tavern.
Keith, yeah.
So they have been a real good partners for us to understand that we are out there challenge the status quo. And yes, the problem of peak hours could not be, I would say it cannot be eradicated, it cannot be completely resolved, but if we can bring just 5% people be flexible with their time
It'll
to eat
offset
during
your
our-
costs.
right,
Exactly.
and they get better experience, no lines to stand, better service, and even the restaurant staff is more happy because they have predictable shifts and more tips.
And obviously that helps with the help in maintaining and retaining your help. So somebody calls you up and says, "Listen, I saw you on that wonderful show, Gate City Chronicles." Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you piqued my interest. How complicated is it for you to come in and sit down and talk with me about my restaurant? How would you go about doing that? Is it a long process? Is it difficult?
It is a very easy process. What we would typically do is we will meet the restaurateur to understand what their off-peak, non-peak or peak hours are, what are they really looking for. And then we explain our platform. Setting them up on a platform takes less than 2 minutes.
Okay.
So again, thanks to technology, everything is cloud-based. We can create them on a platform right over there, or we do it as a follow-up, create them on the platform, and then they can create offers on Dealici Dealici web platform, which they have.
Right.
As part of the creating offers, they can pick their own off-peak hours. They can pick what discounts they want to offer. They can decide how many they want to offer. As we always encourage restaurants to try to use their available capacity. So if they already have 5 staff members in the restaurant between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, how much can they cater within that staff so they are not incurring any incremental cost, and use the existing cost to get more business and pass on all those savings, because the incremental cost in a restaurant, Kevin, is only 25% to 30%. So they can pass that saving to the consumer who is actually flexible coming to the restaurant.
Now, the restaurant, do they promote this, or do you promote this for them because of your technology, the cloud? Do you have a draw with the app? Is the application basically advertised through multimedia or social media? How does that work?
So it is a partnership with restaurants, though we do all the heavy lifting. So we have a 4-step promotion process. We do it through social media, as most of our target consumers are on social media. Then we are doing it through blogs, publications. At the same time, we are doing a lot of promotions and contests. So most of that is on our plate. But one aspect where we always look for restaurants to help, as in return it is going to help them, is put some advertisement in the restaurant itself. So a poster about Dealici, a table tents, or check inserts, check presenter inserts. So they can also educate their consumers. If their customers are flexible with their time, they can come to Dealici, download the app, use it, and save money at the same restaurant the next time.
Is it a free app?
It is a free app. Yes.
You can't beat this with a stick. That's great. It's a great concept. Now, are there long contracts that you have to sign? Is it 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 6 month? What happens? Is that how that works as well? How committed are the restaurants to your program?
There is no contract whatsoever. Yes, there is an agreement that they have to sign, which is more of a legal language. But in terms of duration or tenure, there is no price they have to pay us. So there is no subscription fee. There's no long contracts. A restaurant pays us only when they make money.
So somebody comes in, I got an app, and on my app it says if I come in at such and such a time, I'm going to get 25%. Oh, you honor that? Yeah, absolutely. Just hit that, and okay, take a seat, and that's something like that.
So as a consumer, when they go to our app, they will pre-buy the deal.
Oh.
So 25% is the minimum discount they will get, but it gets up to 50%. And that's a unique feature about the app. I would like to educate our viewers. So a discount is a dynamic discount. As more people purchase the same deal, the discount keeps going up. So it starts at 25%, and let's say 5 people have purchased the deal for Louis for Wednesday between 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock at night, the discount will go to 30%. And the discount goes higher for everybody, including the people who bought it before.
So that brings in a continual...
Right.
Right.
So as more and more people are buying the deal, the discount keeps going up. It helps the consumer get a better bargain for their money. But more importantly, it also helps the restaurant, as more people that come to the restaurant during that off-peak segment, the better they are with their cost, and they're passing that saving back to the consumer. So we call it, as you say, fair deal for a square meal, but also a win-win, a perfect win-win for both ends of the spectrum.
And for those who are maybe just considering something like this for the first time, it's funny because the Patriots just won the other night. It was a great game.
They've been winning every night.
Right.
Go Patriots.
Yes, and so my wife this morning said, I got a free coffee, because she subscribed to an app at Dunkin' Donuts.
Sure.
And that was her highlight. But more and more individuals between 18, 16 to 50 are using these types of apps to plan out their schedule or know what's going on in the community. But for Dunkin' Donuts to put that app out, that's a great idea. And this seems like another service that can add to your bottom line. It can keep people employed and help a restaurant stay in business.
Got it.
Which helps with our tax revenue, which helps the community, and on and on and on.
Yeah. So my whole passion, this whole thing started with the passion of I need to help small businesses. As I'll say, a couple of years back, one of my favorite restaurants was doing great, and they just closed. And I kind of said, what's going on? Why are they closing? So they were doing really good, making good revenue during peak, but they were not able to sustain the cost to keep the lights open.
Yeah.
And every year, in an average, 8 to 10% of the restaurants are shutting down. not just restaurants, other businesses where fixed cost is a high percentage of the cost and the demand is very cyclical, non-uniform throughout the day, they are struggling to keep the lights open. So when I'm a foodie, I'm a food lover, and when I saw this problem with the restaurant several years back, and I've been observing it all along, I didn't have an immediate solution. As any consumer, I also felt like this is part of doing business. However, as time went by and looking into more socio-economic changes and how demographic kept changing, and when more and more people using technology, my passion for food, my understanding for restaurants or what challenges they are facing, and then I wanted to do something to help consumers save more money. I was always fascinated by Expedias and Orbits of the world, wherein they can bargain a really good price from the hotels and the airlines, and they have been acting as consolidators for the demand. How do I bring that power, not at that scale, but maybe a smaller scale, down to local communities? So if 20 people in a community, not knowing each other, could get together and buy the deal from the restaurant, they all benefit. So we call it community social bargaining power. And then my zeal around this whole idea using technology brought a business model in front of me. And I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to implement it. I at least want to give it a real try. And I don't want to, 20 years down the road, continued in a corporate environment, I would have looked back and said, geez, what if I would have done that?
Sure.
Would I have made a change? So I don't want, talking to my wife who, when I was thinking about starting this, leave all the comfort of a corporate life. The real conversation was 20 years down the road, we do not want to look back and say, why did we not do it? So
absolutely,
let's give it a try.
Well, this sounds like a great idea, and I wish you the best. When people call, do they talk to you directly, or do you have people working for you already on this? How does that?
So I do have a small team. We are a very new company. One of my partner is graduate from MIT. He passed out from Sloan School of Management back in May and has been with the company. Same passion, wants to bring a difference, do something cool. My wife has been helping me in the business. Then I do have one employee who graduated from University of UNH, University of New Hampshire last year, is part of the company. I do have a couple of interns who are helping. Everyone associated with a startup because they have a passion around the cause and to be part of the startup with a lot of learning along the way. We make mistakes, we learn out of it. That's the real beauty about it. We have been working 14 to 16 hours just to make it happen.
Dream.
And we launched just last week. So our mobile platform was launched on, not even a week back, we launched on Saturday. We are currently in the post-launch phase. We are doing a lot of promotions post-launch. So if people go to our website, www.dealici.com, DEALICI.com, they can actually participate in our promotion. The first prize is $200 free food on Dealici platform, and then there are 6 other prizes. At the same time, we are also running a lot of promotion in terms of, as you said about your wife's, like I got a free drink. We are running a lot of promotions in terms of download the app, get Dealici points that you can use like cash, and then some other coupons where they can get $3 or $5 off on the first meal. We really want people to try it out, see the experience, and a part of the experience is paperless redemption.
Now, food chains like Ruby Tuesdays or Fridays or whatever, are they welcome to join this? Are they?
They absolutely are. We did not target them in our initial phase, as the bigger chains have at least some solution. They have a marketing department who is helping them, figure out this problem or at least address it partially. Our thing was, let's go after a single operator or 2 operator kind of restaurants because they necessarily don't have big marketing department. But pretty soon we will be approaching these regional
Sure.
chains, because they have the same problem.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
they need
And you
consumers.
can walk in and you see, oh, there's only 1 or 2 people here. Great, I got it all to myself.
They still have to keep minimum amount of staff.
That's
and
right.
You can turn down the AC. You need to keep the heat on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, wonderful. Thank you very much for coming on the show, and I wish you the
Thanks,
best.
Kevin.
So people can find you on the web, Dealici.
Or they can go to Apple Store and download the app Dealici. Just search for the Dealici. And when they sign up, they will see a lot of Gs that they can take advantage of.
And so when this is a global product, remember, it started here on Gate City Chronicles, okay?
Absolutely. Thanks,
right.
Kevin.
All
And
right.
I'm proud to launch it in Manchester and Nashua
Yeah.
to begin with, and then we'll grow it across New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and across the country.
Great success to you.
Thank you once
Wonderful.
again.
Okay.
Thanks for your time.
And thanks for watching Gate City Chronicles. And if you have an idea, or if you have a product or something that you would like to share with the community, you're launching out something, we'd love to have you on the show to discuss it. So until next week, thanks for watching Gate City Chronicles. Thank you for watching Gate City Chronicles. And we want to thank our sponsor, Aardvark Cleaning. They've been a sponsor for quite a few years now, and we appreciate them being a sponsor. And if you want to be a guest on our show, contact accessnashua@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your story. Until next week, thanks for watching.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.